Yeah, I'm doing fewer videos these days, not one per day as I used to do. Just a bit busier, and the views aren't that high. It doesn't justify me doing it every day, but at least one a week. I'm gonna try and do two, maybe three a week. And always gonna do my weekly update video, the portfolio update. I think that's a big hit, relatively speaking, and I enjoy doing that one. Keeps me nice and accountable, and uh and yeah, I enjoy doing it. But here we go. I'm going to recap the week, but I'm really recapping the Friday close, which kind of recaps the week. So obviously we've had the Middle Eastern flare up. I mean, yeah, Hamas just does a surprise. Was it known? Was it not? I don't know. A surprise. What a massive intelligence blunder. If it was a blunder, I mean, it's so hard to imagine, the intelligence apparatus, and not just Mossad, but all the Five Eyes people not knowing this. I mean, and now they're saying it was planned for 2 years. It's almost impossible to not know it. So maybe it was allowed to happen to justify the next action. It's like five chess moves ahead. But let's just assume it really was unknown. What a massive blunder. It was a horrible attack. And now the repercussions are just as horrific. Obviously, you're bombing the most densely populated area in the world with massive GPUs. You're just destroying, you're leveling apartments. There's no way you're just getting the bad guys. As usual, civilians are the biggest casualties on both sides. And when you start to see these videos, and I think a lot of us have seen the most graphic ones, it's absolutely horrible. And here we are talking markets, just binary numbers. And it's going to get worse. I'm just is Israel going to go in on a ground operation? They're saying they will. I don't know if they will. Maybe it's a bluff, because to go in is just, you're going to take a lot of casualties unless you really level the place. Unless you, like, I don't know, mortars, artillery, airstrikes, the area they're going to go into. And even there, you've got tunnels, like look at Vietnam. You can easily just come out from underground and take out from the rear. So I think there's going to be a lot of Israeli casualties if they do that. And that will just piss off the Israelis and make them probably be even more aggressive. And as you exacerbate and infuriate the local populations, you're going to get the regional powers coming in, Taliban, the Syrians, the Iraqis, the Iranians, the Lebanese, obviously Hezbollah already involved. And then you may even go more global. Russia and China are going to try and make a peace treaty. Basically, Russia and China are the new global powers. The level-headed people trying to bring about peace, whilst the West are just just so biased. Just so biased. Just anyway. I mean, look, I just think it's going to get more regional, and I don't want to say global, because if it gets global, maybe it gets to a point. What if Israel starts to lose? The rat that's causing the issues corners itself, and then they got 300 plus nukes at least. So what does a cornered rat do but strike out? So, and that would just be the worst case scenario. That's your World War III. Even though you've got cases for World War III through Ukraine, it's funny how that disappeared. Obviously, Russia's won that war. Okay, anyway, back to the market. So, yeah. So S&P, let's just see, closed the low of day. For me, this was just, the whole week was just a bounce, a retest, and we're going to go back down again. Next week, I see us going back down again. S&P 420. I think we're going to go back down to 420. I don't know if we're going to close below it. Probably we are. I do actually think we are. We're going to test the lows otherwise. And I think we're going to continue low. I think we're in a downtrend now. We've been in an uptrend for a while. We're now in a downtrend. Yes, if we look at these technicals, we close below. We're still in the ascending, but I just, given what's happening, I just think we go back down. And also other markets don't look as good as the S&P. So I think we go back down to 420. Keep it short on the S&P. Look at this, retest of price support, went a bit higher, almost closed the gap, but yeah, back down we go. Let's look at the Nasdaq. So that's actually a bit stronger on the, again, we tested this area, we bounced, we did more than close the gap. Now we hit the descending, back down we go, closing the low of day on Friday. So we're going to go down to the 352. Sorry for the cough. Yeah, 352 zone. So back down we go to the low 350s. And then we're going to continue to flush the week after, most likely. So that's what I think is going to happen. On the S&P and the Nasdaq, Dow Jones, look at this, bounce from this sort of zone, this horizontal just above, retest prior support, acts as resistance, perfect. And I think we're going to go back down again, back to the old lows of just under 33,000. So Dow will follow the same trajectory. Now look at the Russell. That is telling you something. And I think it's related to the banks. I've always said the Russell will lead the way down. I've always said that Russell will be the first down here. I've just hammered this point. And look at this, close the low of day. If there's any continuation to the downside next week, and there will be, the Russell will be the first to flush this zone. Obviously, it's going to go below 1.6. I mean, it's gonna close below this level here, 1.67. I haven't even extended this in a while, so yeah. As we go lower, it's all about the absolute low of the bear market. Can you believe it? 1.63. We'll get there very quickly, and once we close below that, down we go. Down we go. I haven't even looked at this, to be honest. 150, basically 151. I would say, just from initial glance. I mean, let's just see. Let's wait till we get there. I don't think we'll get there next week. That's pretty much a big ask, but yeah, definitely possible. And the close below that, yeah, down you go, 150, 151. You know, I'll even leave the line in place because to me that's the most that's the first point that strikes me as the next level of support. Obviously, maybe gap fill. We'll see. But Russell is ready to flush to new bear market lows. And what do you think happens when we do that? We're just going to continue flushing elsewhere. By the way, the Russell is highly tied to the banks. So let's look at the banks. XLF doing not too bad relative to the others. Down we go. Let's readjust this to where it should be. There you go. So that'll be your support on the way down. We'll get there next week, in my opinion. Low 32s. Close below that, down we go to the next level, which is roughly here. And then we continue flushing. I'll leave it there, XLF. Now look at these. You know, yes, a small bounce on the markets. Closing, look at that 1 day drop. This guy can delete, it's no longer valid. It did its job. Look at that, 35. Let's close below 35 on the KBE, and down we go to the absolute lows with the Russell. This will happen very quickly. And it's funny how charts intertwine with news, and it could even be local company specific news. Maybe a bank goes bankrupt. Remember, interest rates are way too high. Don't care how much they move around this zone, they're way too high. We'll check them out in a second. You know, bonds get bid a little bit during times of fear, like gold, but gold definitely took the show last week. I mean, the last couple of trading days. But you know, it doesn't matter if bonds get bid a little bit. The yields are way too high. And any day now, a bank can go bankrupt. So KRE, same thing. For the same reason, I can delete this downtrend line. It's done its job. Once we close, I really hate this call. Once we close below this, let's say 39, down we go to the absolute bear market lows with the Russell. I think the Russell will crack its lows before the banks, but the banks will follow soon after, and we'll just, you know, exacerbate the situation. So for me, Russell and banks to lead the way down. Okay, yields. Like I said, I mean, the 1 year is a bit just sideways. Forget the 1 year, it's just sideways. 2 year, here we go. Yes, we did break out to new highs. Yes, we retraced. There was a technical retracement followed by some bond buying, just because, and bond buying means yields down, just because of the Middle Eastern panic. But, you know, overall, higher highs, higher lows, and here we are ready to break out to new highs. So 5 years, same thing, just a bit of sideways action in a technical retracement from a breakout. We're still hovering above breakout. And, you know, we could, the technicals are intact and all that, but even if they get broken, for me, it's not too much something to pay attention to, because it's war. Things will move crazy. It's like gold, and we'll take a look at gold soon. Just, you know, zoom out. We're going up. And even if there's a big drop, like look, remember this big drop here, banking crisis, back up we went. You know, the fundamentals long term lead to yields going up, and they will continue. So this war situation could interrupt the pattern, but don't pay attention to that too much. For that reason, I'm not going to look at yields too much. It's just, you know, recognition that we're drifting sideways, but we're still higher highs, higher lows overall. and I still think we're going to go up overall. But just if the war exacerbates, and I think it will, we could see bonds bid and yields down a little bit, and it could destroy some of the short-term ascending patterns like this. Like this could go too much to the downside, maybe even crack below if there's absolute panic. You can go below 4%. That ruins the chart, obviously. But then I would expect a bit of a this move, like a couple of days sideways and then back up. Or we just go up straight away. So 30 years, same thing as the 10. So same thing. Right, let's look at the dollar, because honestly, let's leave it there. That's I don't want to repeat myself. The DXY. I mean, this is for me, I think the last video was a couple of trading days ago, and I thought we will probably bounce, and I think it was this day here. I think we bounced, but we would crack below, and that's kind of what we did. We bounced that day, but look how we closed the low day around there. Next day we cracked below, and then look, the war starts to kick off and big move up. Yes, there was news, but I think the war also helped the dollar stay green on Friday. For me, the dollar is kind of done. Yeah, I think it's kind of done. I think it should have gone up way more with what's going on with the war, but it hasn't. And the fact that gold sustained its highs and continued to high despite despite the dollar picking up towards the end of the day, says something about gold being very, very strong. But for me, the DXY, it's going to be hard to continue a move up. This candle here, normally I would say, is exceptional and suggests we're going to keep going up, but I feel like it needs to take a rest. It's had a hell of a move over several weeks, and yeah, it's running out of steam in my opinion. So even if we make new highs, it'll probably come all the way back down again quickly. So for me, this 107, 108 zone, good sell zone. So I'm expecting the dollar to actually come back down again, retest 105.5, bounce a little bit, and start to flush. It needs a bit of a flush. So although I respect the last two candles and close at higher day on this Thursday and a bit of continuation on Friday, and definitely Monday could keep going up, I just feel like this is gonna encounter a lot of selling around this zone. So the dollar, still strong, but I just doubt it can continue. And long term, very long term, the dollar's toast. Yeah, it's better than the other currencies. I get it, but I just expect it to come back down again. This is too much of a move, too steep an ascending move. We cracked it here. Yes, we regained, but it's probably because of the war and some sort of incorrect interpretation of the news. So I think the DXY is actually going to come back down again. There you go. That's what I think is going to happen, despite the sort of technical impressiveness of the last 2 days. All right, let's look at commodities. Copper. Okay, so copper, 3.55. I said if the markets go down and the dollar goes up, copper will go down. So it makes sense for copper to be where it is. So gold, silver, especially gold though, very impressive last couple of days, but that's specifically because of the war. Copper doesn't get the same love. You don't buy copper because of war. If anything, you sell it because markets going down and copper follows the markets and works inversely to the dollar. So completely makes sense that we're down at 3.55. You can see I haven't touched this line in a while. It totally makes sense. We bounced from it here. That was nice to see. But I think markets will keep going down. The DXY, I'm not sure, but I think copper will follow the markets more than an inverse move to the dollar. So if the dollar does break down, but so do the markets, I think copper goes down with the markets. So and also this technically this looks really weak, hitting the same lows, lower highs, it needs to flush. So I think we're gonna go back down again, not all the way down to 3.3 straight away, but basically down to 3.4 at least first. So yeah, and it will get some good buying down here, I reckon. But I think copper goes low, but definitely makes sense for it to be doing what it's doing. Now, natural gas, I haven't spoken about that in a long time. Last time I was talking about it was over here because the last video I did was a portfolio update. But yeah, natural gas, I said it was going to break out for a long time. I was saying I won't, over predict it because it's sort of played with everyone's emotions a bit too much. But once we have that close above 305, and here it was on that day, Then I said we can celebrate, and look what happened. 2 huge days, and went all the way up to this zone. Sorry, this zone here. Why is that? Oh yeah, this price support. So natural gas did exactly what it's supposed to do. Now we was closed since the move up. Can we go back down again? Of course. 305 is support. I don't think we'll get there. I think a lot of people are ready to buy this. So I don't actually think we'll go back down to 305. But if we do, what a buy, it should find very strong support. And then up we go. Really, up we go to the 4, which is what I've been saying, right? 4 or higher zone. Let me just add this. So yeah, down we go. I mean, if we go down, it should get bought. But I'm looking for the gap fill. I'm looking for 4 to 4.5, even 5. And I think a lot of people are looking for a bigger squeeze. But yeah, natural gas in the middle of a squeeze. Bit of retracement last couple of trading days, but absolutely doing what I'd hoped. So that's very nice to see. Oil. Now, oil came back. Where do I start with oil? Obviously, this whole move, we've been covering it, especially since I took away the line because it's no longer relevant, but this descending line here, since the breakout continuation, I expect to go all the way up to 82/84, where it meets resistance, which it kind of did. Then we went higher, and I said 92 to 94, and it hit resistance there, smashed back down, actually went lower than I thought. I thought this would be a nice support. But markets do what they always do, which is overextend the move to both sides, and in this case, they overextended on the downside. But look at this, close at high of day on Friday, reclaiming the ascending. Back up we go to test 94, essentially. That's a hell of, and with good justification. We're talking about serious inflamed Middle East. So, and if Iran gets involved, Iraq, and this is oil price sensitive stuff. So I think we'll go back up very easily to 94. The Saudis will get involved, by the way. I hate this cough. Okay, so back up we go to 94, bit of sideways, back and forth. And then as soon as we start closing above this high here, let's say above 95.5, honestly, straight to 100, past 100, straight to 104. I think the next level really is 97.5. You can see the lines, but I think people will just be going crazy once they see 96 handle. That I think it will just 97 will be just like an intraday resistance. It'll just squeeze past. People will just chase this, and with good reason. Middle East, maybe the dollar goes lower, and just oil belongs higher. Everyone's been saying it, and it's true. Oil belongs way higher. So just to sell a little bit over here to buy back a little lower, I don't think we'll get many of those people. So I think we'll squeeze quickly. So oil, I think also the close on Friday is really impressive. So move up to the old highs, 94. Okay, uranium. Beautiful technicals once again, all the way up to this high, 28, 28.5. I mean, it makes sense why it went there, right? It's not just random. Went all the way up there, went all the way back down to retest this breakout zone. Look at this huge channel I've got here. And it basically tested just a little bit above, right? If you're waiting exactly at 24, you missed it. If you're looking to sell at 28.5, you missed it. But a couple of cents below, you get it on both sides. That's why you never wait for the big round number. Beautiful stuff. And now we're basically chilling at the, near sort of the support zone. But uranium tends to follow the markets more than anything else, I would say. So although uranium has bucked the trend and the market has been going down whilst it's got up, that's true. But that was just uranium on its own technical breakout. Since then, it's retraced. Technicals always win. So for me, I don't know what's going to happen next. I think the market's going to go down. I think uranium will go down with the markets. I don't see them. I mean, it could bounce a little bit more on its own because it's just overextended the drop, and people will probably be buying this low. But I think I actually predict what I hope, which you shouldn't do often. But I do think it will go down with the markets, and even if it comes back down to this zone, the uptrend is not intact, And I think I will actually dip my toes into some senior good uranium miners like Cameco. Is it Cameco? Yeah, it is. CCJ. I'll start there. here. If it goes lower, fine, I'll buy that. But zoom out, look where you are. Know what you own. It's long-term, strategic resource that has a fantastic thesis. So long-term. So I'd be very happy to buy that and see it go lower to add more. But I don't want to buy yet. I certainly don't want to buy this drop. But I didn't even buy it down here, so I'll end up buying it way higher. But I think it's more confirmed the breakout. So I do think uranium I can get it lower, and I'll wait till here. And let's see if I buy it if I see it there. Maybe it's going down with the markets, and the markets have a lot more lower to go. But I think uranium can go lower with the markets. Okay. Because this beauty, gold and silver, right? Gold. So obviously came all the way back down here, absolute lows, this 1810. We've covered all the levels on the way down. It makes sense that we bounced it. And I remember on this day, on the bounce day, I think the day before, or even the day before that, I said we're hitting a bit of a low here. And I thought there'd be a reversal, and I bought this. I didn't buy very aggressively here in case I'm wrong, in case it goes lower. And I saw this very strong support lower, but I bought some anyway here. So happy with that buy. And I didn't sell. I didn't sell because for me, I saw miners not having made too much of a move higher. I did not see this huge move. I did not see the Hamas surprise attack. Obviously, I'd be arrested. But I certainly, it had happened already before this huge candle. It's just people were predicting, and this is probably a by the rumor of the escalation over the weekend. That's probably what this candle was. So huge candle, close a high of day, close above this breaker. I don't know how, I'm probably wrong on this descending. I mean, I'd have to really adjust it there just to make this candle work. And now we haven't closed beyond it. It's pretty much at the zone. But it's above 1930. 1930 is a bit of a level. I would have thought 1929 would be below the key descending level. So it's a very good close. It's up 3.5%. That's extremely rare stuff. That's a very strong day. And this is with DXY pretty much still at its highs. So imagine the DXY rolls over. This is very impressive stuff. I almost feel like taking 5 seconds of silence just to admire it a bit more. And it's actually the first time I look at it sort of, outside of hours. Very impressive stuff. And I remember when it was tagging here, I wanted to make a video. I can't make videos these days as easily, but I almost felt like making a video saying, yeah, look, 1885, it tagged price support perfectly. Technicals work amazingly. Bam. What happens the next day? It goes straight through like the next two levels. I mean, this is a war, so everything's off the table, but it was working technically perfectly, and it still does. The technicals are ideal. Thankfully, because I trade accordingly. But look, I did not predict this, and no one did. It's just amazing. So what happens now? Well, I don't know if anything happens war-wise over the weekend. Probably the market got it right. There's an escalation. There are, Hezbollah is already involved. Clashes on the Lebanese border. The Egyptians sending in their civilian convoys, but you still have some peace negotiation. Let's not get into the war. Let's just see it. I mean, I still think there'll be escalations. They'll slowly get more and more regional, but I don't think you ever see moves like this related to war that sustain themselves. During the Ukraine conflict, I mean, that was here, wasn't it? That was this. No, wait. God, I've totally forgotten. March 2020. This is all the Corona stuff. Ukraine was from over here. Yeah, I mean, we touched it. I mean, look, this is pretty much Ukraine. I forgot when it was like February, March 2022. Yeah, just over here, huge move up. But look what happens. Total retracement, failed retest quickly, and just totally flushes and then goes even lower than before, pretty much. So where are we now? Huge move. Yeah, we could have continuation. But if we fell at 1980, we come all the way back down again. Because you're not really, aside war, you're not really allowed to just come from all the way below and just keep going up. So you should be selling into this move. I nibbled a little bit out. That's what I did towards the close on Friday. because of what I just said, because we come from all the way down here. So I sold what I bought here. If we continue going higher, then all the stuff I bought around here that's in the money, I'll sell that. And I'll buy on a retrace. And if it never retraces, then good, it keeps going up. So for me, gold, if the dollar goes low, and I think it will, gold should keep going up. But you can't count on constant exacerbation of tension, of war for it to keep going up, because you could have war getting worse and gold stops going up, because the people who bought gold in anticipation of worsening war, they've done their buying. There's no one left to buy. Like, that buying's been done. So just watch out. Technically, we're at a bit of resistance despite an amazing close at a high of day. Next resistance for me, given what the stakes are, normally I would say 1950. Wow, we're already at 1950, this zone. So yeah, 1950, a very small level of resistance for sure. Intraday, maybe, given how much gold's moved recently, if it starts moving up, I don't know how strong the resistance will be, but it's resistant. And after that, 1980. And after that, 2000 doesn't even count. I've said this, it goes straight to 2020, and then we're all-time highs. Unbelievable stuff. 1980 should be strong resistance. So let's just look at the next two levels. 1950, very small. 1980, huge resistance. Let's look. And on the way down, we'll probably go straight below 1900. 1900 will be mini support, so I'll leave that in there. Then 1885, price support and resistance. And then this zone here, which, by the way, I also feel like I nailed. It's just, it was a little bit off by like $5. It's 1880. No, that's it. That's basically it. For the last 3 days, or these 3 trading days, on the way up, it sort of scrambled around there. The next day it did, and the day after it hit support there. So really 1850 to 1860, which I've said, and I've had this line in place for a long time. That is also a bit of a level. So all the levels you see are correct, in my opinion. So I'll leave them as they are. So there you go. Let's look at silver. Silver's just harder to call, and I said, if you're unsure about silver, look at gold. And that's what I said before this move up here. I said gold looks like it's going to turn, so silver should too. And silver was acting quite strong there. Now, these are not as obvious. Obviously, we closed near high of day, not as strong as gold. The levels are not as obvious. Here, I think it just closed randomly because of gold. I don't like this line normally, but look, it's ascending, slightly ascending support, and it did act there. And because it was so relevant, I kept it. But on the repump here, it didn't do anything. So actually, I wouldn't normally do this. I'm going to delete that. This also, look how relevant this one is. It used to be long-term ascending. We lost it. And as soon as we lost this, down we went. This was the most important one. But you can see we closed just above it. I'm going to keep this one in place just because it's longer term than the other one. And I still think it's a bit relevant, like, yeah, we flushed it with gold, and now we've reclaimed it. Maybe this is just the 22 level that used to I think it's the most relevant horizontal line in the area. This is irrelevant, doesn't count anymore, and this is the old low, so everything else still counts. What happens next? Honestly, follow gold. Silver is too hard. If silver goes all the way up here, 2350, it's a sell. It's a mini sell. If it goes past, this doesn't count, even though it's a big round number. That's it. 2350 and higher, 25, and then 26, 27, blah, blah, blah. On the way down, this horizontal, very, very weak support. Actually, it probably isn't. Because look at the last support is around there. I might just do this. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Whatever, even if it's wrong by a couple of cents, it won't change the world. You should have a longer term view and be more strategic about your buys and your sells. I think I'll leave it like that. On the way up, 2350, after that, 25. After that, we'll see. It's all bullish. On the way down, prior low from this area. Let's call it just below 22, 21.8, weak support. After that, very strong support, 20 let's say 8, 7.5-ish. And if it flushes that, then this rough zone, it probably get bought back, because should have strong support from this, but also look at this ascending. This would come into play, the very strong ascending. This would be the strongest support in forever. So I don't see us flushing this much. It could flush, go below, even this ascending, but then buy back. So this entire zone should be strong. Basically the 20 zone. You don't want to close below 20. That would just make the whole thing weird and a big flush to the absolute lows of the bear market. But I don't think we're talking about that right now. So those are the levels. I know this is a long video, so let's keep going. We're almost done. The miners. Now, this is the absolute beauty. Finally following the metals a bit. It's a nice bounce, GDX. Very nice bounce. You know, here the low, it's just, you know, you can see why I had this. I obviously had all these horizontal lines in. So, but I think it's just bounced on gold. You know, I said when in doubt, refer to the gold chart. And that's what we did here. Nice bounce, just when I thought it was losing its strength. And a lot of sellers got done here. You know, look at this. Oh my God, big bearish engulfing candle. Down we go lower, and next day up we go. And look, we've broken out. We've closed decently above the descending. Next level, this horizontal. Clearly on the way down. Not obvious. This not obvious at all. I would say, yeah, roughly this zone. I can't call it any more precisely. Yeah, this zone, prior support from here. So, and if we go lower, then the last low, really, let's say around there. So there you go, support of the two lines on the way down, resistance, this line here. And if we close above 30, big number for GDX, then up we go to the next zone, you know, 31, 32. We'll see where you see the horizontal lines. GDXJ, which was not as strong, which is a little surprise. I mean, it was on Friday, not by too much, but, you know, look, we're not past the descending. Look, GDX, it's stronger, which is nice. I think for someone like me who holds quite a lot in the seniors. So GDXJ bounced just like GDX in time with gold, all the way up. Look at this candle here on that Thursday, big sellers, and then bam, totally outdone on Friday. Totally caught off guard. Closed pretty much, it would have been better if it was above 34, but closed pretty much just above this prior support. I mean, where prior support was. So I think we closed above resistance. We just need that continuation, you know, continuation, hopefully close above the descending. But for that, you need quite a lot of a percentage move. How much of a percentage move is that? You know, 3-4%. And what would GDX be doing if you're 3-4%? It'd be all the way at the horizontal line, I guess. So you really need 1 or 2 more days. But, you know, where's gold going to be? Gold will be above 1950. So for GDX and GDXJ to really break out, you'd need gold like testing 1980, which is a hugely sensitive area. So it looks very good. On the way down, yeah, prior support. I guess I could leave this in place, 33. After that, 32 makes sense. And after that, well, it's going to be the prior low from down here. So those are the levels, you know. Finally, Bitcoin, real quick, you know, that just went down with the markets. It didn't get a safe haven bid. That's the key takeaway. Bitcoin did not get the safe haven bid. And it looks quite weak now. You know, it was looking pretty good a couple of trading days ago, like 28,500. Can we close above that? And now we're talking about the old highs. No, we failed that, and the markets look really weak, and it's not getting a safe haven bid. So if we have 1 or 2 more trading days lower, if we close above 26, close below 26,000, straight back to these lows, you know, and I'm talking about these lows, 24,800 or whatever. So you got 2 levels. You got 26,000 and then 24,800. You close below both, obviously 24,800, going straight to 20,000, and that that would go very well with a massive market drop. And then why not make new bear market lows? So I think that's the key takeaway. It did not get a safe haven bid. Okay, that'll do. You know, I'm sorry that I didn't do these videos recently. I'm going to try and do more daily videos because this one had to be a bit longer to recap quite a few trading days that I missed. In sum, it's the same story. Markets lower. Well, no, the metals had a different story because of the war, but you know, overall, I think the market's going to go down. I think interest rates will go up. Overall, they could go lower because of a bid in the bond market, because of an absolute collapse and fear trade. So you could have bonds bid a little bit, but gold's going to definitely keep getting bid. And I think the dollar will lose its strength. So commodities are a good place to go, good place to hide, gold and silver. It's just they've come up 100 and something dollars in the last couple of trading days. So it's not great to buy such a massive pop. But if you're in it, maybe lighten up the load. And that's what I'm going to do. Just lighten up a little bit if we keep going up a little bit more, so that you can catch some on the way down. But again, if it keeps going up, good. Hold what you've got. But I do think markets will go down. I think bonds will keep getting destroyed long term, so yields will keep going up. I think inflation is going to keep going up too. And Bitcoin lower, stock market lower, banks lower, dollar. I think it's done going up as much as it's done recently. So probably sideways overall and actually lower. So yeah, resources, my favorite specialty, resource stocks, uranium, oil, gold, silver, gas. Why not? And a couple of key stocks, otherwise, even blue chips. Okay, I'll do my portfolio update now. So otherwise, I hope that was useful and sorry for the cough.